Hi guys, it's me, Skylar Capri, and today we're talking about how to make your fine fragrance mist last all day, how to make it last way longer. So without further ado, let's get right on into some tips and tricks. Tip number one is we need to give the fragrance something to stick to. The best way to do this in terms of applying the fragrance on our skin is to apply to moisturized skin. So tip number one is to have your skin moisturized. So why does a moisturized skin more effective than unmoisturized skin? So by moisturizing your skin, you're giving the perfume or the fragrance mist something to stick to. So we're able to smell fragrance mist or perfumes because of that scent evaporating into the air. Yes, as the scent evaporates into the air, you are able to smell it. However, the faster it evaporates, the lower the longevity, if that makes sense. So what you want to do is you want to give the fragrance mist or the perfume something to stick to on your skin. The best way to do this is to apply a moisturizer. Now, really what you want to do is you want to apply the most moisturizing product, whether it is scented or unscented. Typically, these are going to be more unscented products that have the more goal of moisture rather than fragrance. So you can achieve this through a baby lotion or a body oil, anything that's really going to moisturize your skin. Tip number two is apply before dry is a great way to think about it. So in order for the moisture to really trap that fragrance in, it needs to be wet. As I said, moisturized skin does a lot better in absorbing the fragrance and increasing that longevity than when you're applying to dry skin. So this is going to be the case when you moisturize. You want to have your lotion not completely dry before applying your fine fragrance mist. This is going to allow the fragrance mist to absorb better into your skin rather than just applying on something that is dry, as we discussed previously. Tip number three, you're going to want to apply to your pulse points. So your pulse points are the warmest points of your body, and they also allow the intensification of the fragrance. So where are your pulse points? Your pulse points are going to be behind your ears, they're going to be on your wrist, in your elbow, behind your knees, your ankles. These are going to trap heat and further intensify the fragrance, allowing that perfume to last a little bit longer and be a little bit stronger throughout the day. So the next tip is to spray directly. Now we see a lot of people spraying into the air, then walking through. This doesn't allow the majority of those fragrance particles in the air to really hit the points that you want it to target. So if you've applied the fragrance onto your pulse points, onto your moisturized skin, but you're spraying into the air and walking through, yes, all that fragrance might be hitting this region, but it really missed your pulse point. So it's not really getting that triple layer of fragrance intensification. So make sure you are spraying directly on your skin, especially directly on those pulse points rather than just walking through, to really allow the fine fragrance mist to stick. Now, the last tip regarding just like general body application is to layer your fragrances on your body. So how you're going to do this, you can use the body wash in a certain fragrance and then double it up with the lotion in a fragrance. And then on top of that, put the fine fragrance mist in the same set in the sort of like application process. By building up or layering those scents, you're able to increase the intensification of those body products. Now, a great way to increase the intensification of your products is to use products with a large amount of base notes. If you want me to get into really base notes and which are the strongest perfumes and products and most long-lasting at Bath & Body Works, I'm able to do a separate video about that. But base notes that are extremely strong, think things like patchouli, think things like vanilla. Why is Into the Night at Bath & Body Works a really strong, long-lasting fragrance? Because it has a lot of those base notes. That's a separate video. In terms of this video, you're going to want to layer your fragrances with the same scent. Now, I guess I missed a tip. When you're applying to your pulse points and you're doing something with a moisturizer, one of my favorite things to do is go in with some petroleum jelly to do that. This is like the dip-in version with your finger. However, the best way for me to apply this is just to dip a Q-tip in it. Then I don't need to get it all over my hands. Make sure it's rubbed really good in your pulse points, and because this is that oil-based product, it's going to help the fragrance stick a little bit better than a lotion or a cream just because it's more oily. Moving on to tips regarding our hair and our clothes. So you hear a lot of people say, spray your hairbrush, spray your hair. So with that, yes, your hair is more porous because it is more oily. That will allow it to trap the fragrance, increasing the longevity. However, I do caution you because the majority of fragrance is very high in alcohol that can dry out your hair. Hence why I think Bath & Body Works has started to go into the hair care line, because they want it to be highly fragranced with the fragrances you love, but they also understand the sort of drying effects that spraying a fine fragrance mist on your hair directly can have. However, if you would like to do this in sort of a non-drying way, one of my favorite things to do is to use a non-scented hair oil and sort of put it down my hair while it is air drying, and then I can spray the fragrance on top. Not only is it sticking to that oil, but because that oil is almost over moisturizing my hair is very, very moisturized. It's kind of canceling out that drying out process. So that's definitely something you're gonna wanna keep in mind. I don't recommend spraying your hairbrush with your fragrance because the fragrance is not going to be as potent as spraying directly. However, if you're going to spray directly on your hair, definitely be mindful of the drying effects of the fragrance and make sure to take some extra precautions in moisturizing your hair before doing so. When it comes to spraying on your clothes, again, we always wonder, why on earth is the fragrance on my shirt so much stronger than it is anywhere else? And that is because the majority of fabrics are more porous than our skin, allowing them to trap the fragrance for longer periods of time, decreasing the rate at which it evaporates, therefore increasing the longevity of the scent. So spraying on your clothes is definitely a good idea. However, there's also a precaution that Bath & Body Works and some other body mist companies do use fragrance dyes. They do use dyes in their fragrance to get it red or green or etc. So I do caution you when you're spraying on clothes, because you do want to spray directly, that the dyes in the fragrance aren't dyeing your clothes. I don't think I've ever had a problem with that, but I definitely recommend doing a test, whether it's on like toilet paper or a paper towel. If you're wearing a white shirt and you're spraying like a red fragrance, definitely want to make sure that the fragrance is not going to stain your clothes. So that is really all of my tips and tricks regarding how to make your fine fragrance mist last. Really just an overview of everything. So you want to make sure your skin is hydrated, you want to apply before it's dry, and you also want to layer your fragrances. Make sure you are applying to your pulse points, and a great way for the fragrance to stick to your pulse points is putting a little bit of Vaseline on the pulse point first, then applying your fragrance lotion, then applying the fine fragrance mist, again applying before dry. When it comes to your hair, take some precautions, as the alcohol and perfume can be very drying, but your hair is more porous and tends to be a little bit more oily, holding on to that fragrance a little bit better. And your clothes are more porous than your skin, allowing them to hold on to fragrance a bit more and allowing the longevity of the fragrance to be a bit more increased than your skin, again with the precaution of making sure that those fragrance dyes are not transferring to your clothes. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you all found it helpful, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.